What's up, y'all? You are listening to For the Artists, a podcast brought to you by Creative M Projects, a 501c3 tax exempt organization helping artists from the inside out. I am your host, Melissa Sharee.
And I am your co-host, Mr. Eric Seats, and today's feature brings the heat from Seattle, Washington. All right, and he's best known for his artistry and his musicianship as well. So welcome him.
Yes, that's right. We got J.Charles in the house, y'all. He is profoundly emerging as one of music's purest talents. He has established himself as a singer, a songwriter, a multi-instrumentalist, and a producer, okay, expressing his gift of song with passion and enthusiasm that is infectious. Jay's lyrical, sincerity, and soulful approach are both refreshing and endearing. He grew up near Tacoma, Washington, and his musical upbringing was shaped none other than, y'all, you know what it is, in the church, okay? He was learning under musicians in the community and gaining technical training through high school marching and symphonic bands. Soon after graduating from Eastern Washington University with a bachelor's degree in communications, J.Charles set his sights on entering the music scene in Seattle, where a fresh soul and R&B culture was being formulated. This is the home of living legends such as Quincy Jones and Jimi Hendrix, and modern day phenoms such as Chocolat and Kimberly Nicole. J.Charles climbs to the melodic ranks of grassroots newcomers by gaining both regional and international recognition. He has shared the stage, y'all, with Grammy-nominated artists Dwele, Eric Roberson, and Raheem DeVaughn, and has swooned audiences in not just the US, okay, but Australia, Korea, and South Africa. He's currently working on his new EP, and he released his newest single, Another Lover, in April 2017, his most transparent work to date. Y'all, give it up for J.Charles.
That's so nice. That's so nice.
Welcome.
He's so
Thank
smooth with it. I mean, I just love it. I just need to be like, you're just massaging me with your voice right now, just in speaking.
Listen, this saying is it's not on me, it's in me. It's in me. So
It's not on you, it's in you. In you since you was
yes.
just a little thing, huh? A little
Yes,
pup.
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm just here to deliver. That's all.
No, but seriously, have you always been this smooth and laid back?
Man, and that's always been the question. And you know what? I had just seen some friends from like way back, like elementary school, way back, and it had been a while, some 20 plus years since we've seen each other. And the first thing that my friend said was, "Man, you still smooth like I remember you. Like you still smooth like I remember you." So I guess so. I guess so.
He's been consistently smooth.
Well,
That's all
yeah,
right. That's your character. Yeah,
I am my daddy's son, so
right on.
it comes from somewhere. It said, "I never seen the righteous forsaken," is what the word says. So I'm not the one begging for bread, so I'm all good.
Oh my goodness
I'm
gracious.
all good. That's the
Let
word. Message.
message. All right, so shoot, dare I even ask where your inspiration comes from to do what you do?
Oh man, we grew up in a town called Spanaway, and our commute to church was easily a half an hour. So on
Mm,
the way to church, it was always music. It was always music, and it was always Take Six. It was
mm,
always the Winans. It was always the Clark sisters, and then however which way they branched out, all of them, Dorinda, Twinkie. I remember watching Twinkie pull somebody off of the organ so she could show them how to play the song right, and that's when I knew I got to be straight because you don't want to be that guy.
I,
You
I
want to
was
be that guy to be pulled out, you know what I mean, or called out because you wasn't prepared, you know.
mm-hmm.
So that was like, and that was also a different time where that's all we can do. We didn't have um broadband internet, you know what I mean? Like we had to find something to do. And music just happened to be one of those things. And if you were in the church growing up, it was either you were an usher or you were in the choir. So
Rose. Yeah.
yeah, that's how I chose to serve.
The choir.
I can definitely relate. And that's where I got the most practice slash rehearsal. And it was that consistency, whether it was on whatever instrument, it grooms you in such a way that you end up exuding that same energy out. So what age did you know that this is what you needed to do as an artist, though? Outside of being gifted with it naturally.
Oh, as an artist?
Yes.
It was at college. It was at a Apollo night at Eastern Washington University. And it was the first time I had sang out loud since I hit puberty. And that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up winning. And that was like a leap of faith, because it was like a fear to perform, you know what I'm saying, like in front of people. And I won that, and then everybody was, hyping me up. And then I was like, maybe. So then I bought I got a Korg Triton, and then I learned how to program, you know what I mean? Just after homework, you know what I'm saying, in the night, because it took me a long time to get out into the social scene of college. So I just would just shed, in the dorm, you know what I mean? And figure it out. And so, yeah, that was it.
This is deep, y'all. This is deep for me because, we are from the same area, Jay.
Right.
And like you, I grew up in the church choir. Like, I remember every week I look forward to going to choir.
I could tell you the schedule from the week, starting from Sunday to Saturday right now, because that's how much I was at church.
Yeah.
Sunday morning, 9:45 Sunday school, 11 o'clock worship service. You might have a 3:30 service, depending on if it was anniversary season, and then you had 7 o'clock night service. That's Sunday. I still had to go to school. Keep that in mind. So then Monday night was adult choir rehearsal. Tuesday night was young adult choir rehearsal. Wednesday night was men's choir rehearsal. Thursday night was evangelical service. So that's for everybody who missed out on Sunday morning and want to get it in the week. Friday, depending on anniversary season, you might be at somebody's church on Friday night. And then Saturday was all the youth stuff. So yeah, I was at church hella.
That was my schedule too.
And
yeah, it was crazy.
I mean, who knew? Look at us now. All of that stuff was so foundational into how we live our lives even now to this day.
Mm-hmm.
To this day. But we all have very unique personalities, and we haven't lost the essence of who we are, which I think is dope.
Because you got to look into Jesus. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, Jesus couldn't do what he could do in his own hometown because people wasn't really rocking with him like that. The only way he could move is if he went out. Mm-hmm. And he did what he had to do to people who were believing in what he was trying to get out there. So that moment that you get out there and you see what it truly is, you understand, like, that foundation is important. That foundation is important because that's really what we're here to do, is to do what we're called to do, and to do it unashamed, and to do it as he's given it to us. And if you can do that, man, you're solid.
Yeah.
Assignments with foundation behind them have no choice but to work.
Straight.
As long as we pursue them with the right mentality and approach and wisdom, those rehearsals build it, whatever it was, that it builds character, and we still apply it to whatever it is that we're indulging in this day and time. So that's dope, Soldier, that you pursuing it. And congratulations on everything, man. Let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. What was what inspired you to record your own, outside of the the opportunities afforded you. That's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's like exposure. I think one day I was listening to T-Pain, and I love T-Pain, man. He was killing.
So this was like 2016, 16.
Was that about it? Maybe it was earlier than that. Maybe it was,
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it was like the hyphy movie. I'm gonna say like 11 or 12.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But somebody was singing, and I was like, man, I can do that. I can do that, you know? And then from there, it was just, you know, like I said, figuring out the mechanisms of how to do it. A lot of it was just working with people, you know what I mean? Like getting close to engineers and asking questions, you know, just spending that extra money for that extra hour for the session so that I could learn the program or learn, you know, how to work it out, you know what I mean? And then taking that, putting that into work and applying the knowledge in my own way. It's like science, you know, you just got to try.
Correct.
You got to try.
Now you say your bio talks about your parents being military. So and you're talking a lot about preparation already, you know.
Man.
So did you get that from did that come from your parents in terms of you always knowing or wanting to be prepared?
I was always blessed. I was also blessed to know my grandparents. And my granddad was a drill sergeant. Whoa. And he was dressed. Like he taught me how to make a bed. Like that's how deep it goes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it also comes from a different mindset. You know what I mean? Like you had to be presentable. Like you had to be prepared. Like it was just one of those things because you didn't want to be caught slipping. You know, like my grandparents were, I would say, you know, pretty affluent because, you know, of the military and how that worked out for them. And so when they moved from the South to Washington, they moved in what is now a University Place. Mm-hmm. And if you know anything about University Place, that's a very affluent area in the Southwest County area. And I remember my granddad telling me that he remembered always being asked if he was lost when he was going home. Right? You know what I mean? So being that close to that way of thinking in relation to being dressed, you know, you gotta stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Right.
And that's just one of them things, you know what I mean? Just one of them things. Like you don't want to get caught not doing, because that's that moment that opportunity will be right there. And you don't want to be the one slipping, because if you don't get it, somebody else will. Mm-hmm.
Have you had a situation or experience happen? I mean, you've talked about an experience where you've seen it happen to somebody else, but I'm wondering if it's actually happened to you in terms of you missing out on something or not getting an opportunity or something that you wanted.
I'm gonna tell you a lesson that I learned in that, and I'm gonna also say yes, I got fired once. I got fired once. But I think that you know, after revisiting the situation, it was from a church gig, and I still have a good relationship with the pastor. It was the minister of music that had something out for me. Anywho, but I lost that gig, and I had never gotten fired from any job since I've been working a job. First job was at McDonald's. And, you know, they begged me to stay. I said, I got to go to school. You know what I mean? So whatever. And yeah, that did something to me, because like that puts you in this place to where, like, you know, like, was I really appreciative of the opportunity? Was I really taking care of the responsibility? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so that puts you, just on post for other opportunities. Now, the lesson that came with that is that nothing that is for me will pass me by. So, it was just a point of that season that I had to transition into something else. And that loss really opened me up for a lot of the wins that I ended up experiencing after that. You know what I mean? Because even though I took that hit, you know what I mean? Like it was, it was not only a hit to the ego, but a hit to the pockets because that was a gig.
Yeah.
So even though I took that hit, that loss made more room for the gain that was coming after that. So it was like the setup. It was like the perfect setup. You know what I mean? You just gotta let a lot of those times that you'll be wanting something, you know what I mean? And it gets snatched away from you. You just gotta be ready to receive that more that he's trying to give you,
Very
That's
well
just
said.
one of them things.
Life lessons, they build our character.
Yes, sir. And ethic.
Some of those lessons we'll never forget. And those are milestones and they're pivotal for us too as well, because we take something from that and it just makes us better in our next endeavors. Let me ask you this, Brother J.Charles, what landed you the opportunity to be afforded to grace stages with Dwele, who's super dope, and those other main cats like that?
Opportunity and relationship. A lot of those were opportunities for where we could open up for those artists. And then from then it was just, developing a relationship. Like I met Dwele maybe in like 2010, 2011. And man, that dude ended up turning out to be my brother. You know what I mean? That's crazy. And I was just telling him the other day how much I used to bump Weekend Love, you know what I mean? Just cause. And then now we over here, kicking it. But yeah, no, opportunity and relationships. There was I got to shout out Tibbs, man. Tibbs actually introduced us to Dwele and afforded us the opportunity to open up for Eric Roberson. And yeah, man, it's a good brother. We worked with him twice. Yeah, a few promoters in Seattle, man, helped us out when we were coming up because there were only a few live bands in Seattle at the time that we came up. Trying to think of the names off the top, and I'm not trying to be that dude because it's just been so long since I've heard from everybody. Pandemic messes with your memory, real deal. Oh man, Leonard and them. I can't think of their name. Dang it. Do you remember Leonard, Liz?
Maybe by face.
Maybe by face, Tyler, Leonard Jones, man. Oh man, I can't think of that band name. Let's move on. But let's move on because it's gonna hit me like an hour, and I'm like, dang it.
Sorry, they know who they are.
They know who they are. Sorry, guys. I love you.
When it hits you can just let us know.
Yeah, I'll text you. Dang it. But yeah, no, so it was a few, and we were like the young guns on the scene. I was fresh out of college, and the only reason why I did music is because it was right after the market crash and the recession. And, nobody who wasn't related was getting hired at that moment. Like literally going on like 65 job interviews to be like, nah. I was like, what did I go to college for? So I had to make a survival move. And me and my brother made a band, and yeah, we just started grinding from the bottom. And then we started building those relationships. One by one, email lists. It was crazy building that database. And then all of that work, we were presented an opportunity. We were prepared. And that built another relationship, which builds other opportunities. It's one of those things. The gift that keeps on giving.
The gift that keeps on getting, live by little. Do you still have the band with your brother or what?
My brother is still working. Actually, as a matter of fact, he let me use his space because he's been doing a whole lot of podcasting himself. He's developing his platform under Vinyl JP, where he's actually interviewed a few industry titans, which names are Tony Royster was one big one that he just had a time with and interviewing him. So he's trying to be his no, I'm not gonna say trying. He's actually really doing great stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's my brother, so I'm always gonna give him some stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, but he's doing some wonderful things. And then as far as my band, we are traveling mostly with Dwele. We had just sharing with you all earlier. We had just got back from doing a show in DC at the City Winery for New Year's, and that was a good time. That was a good time.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right on. Shout out to both of those crews, man. That's a
So
tight.
so you stay on the travel grind, huh, Jay?
Well, it stopped for a little bit.
Well, I mean, outside of that, you were.
outside of that, you know what I'm saying? Like once they opened up, yeah, we were ready to go. We were ready to go. And we have been blessed to have a few, you know what I'm saying? So it's like really taking considering it all. It's all about, maximizing the moment. It's all about maximizing the moment because you just don't know. Every day is what that day is going to bring. So yes, we have been grinding. We have been grinding, and we have been blessed to do so. So I hope that everything does what it's supposed to do, so that we can continue on, because that's what we need. I mean, like, if anything, it's a release. This is our gift. This is our calling, and it's nice to be able to present it in a way that it is appreciated. In a way that it develops a memory and a connection. You know what I mean? Because like, I think uh, that's where the precious moments are. It's right there in the creation of things. You know what I mean?
You know what I
And
love? Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
What I love about this music that we do, it lasts forever. Once
Oh man.
once it's out into the universe, and we could, because I'm going through a phase of pulling back all the music from that I had on cassette tapes at this point, and making
Yeah.
they download it in my phone, because I clearly don't have a cassette player or a CD player even, or a DVD
Mm,
player.
man.
And but those things never, they still, and music will always be able to take us back to that time and place and space that will always be appreciated better than any newspaper, any political views and things of that nature, even religion sometimes.
Yeah, man.
So it's impeccable that you're doing your work that you're doing, soldier. So commend you on that.
Blessings, man. Blessings. I'm blessed to do so, because it really ain't me. It really ain't me. I'm just doing what he's telling me to do.
Correct.
I'm still stuck on what you just said in terms of how I want to say it, like just how you said it. You talked about how precious it is, or the preciousness of the actual like moment of creation. You're
Yeah.
starting to say something about that, and I'm like, yes, that
No, it
resonates.
is. It is. Because I mean, like look how we're doing this interview.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? This is something, you know what I mean, that's wonderful, you know what I'm saying, as far as technological advances are concerned. You know what I mean? Like, who would have thought we'd be over here living the life of the Jetsons? Straight up and down, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Correct.
That said, it's taking away opportunity for us to connect interpersonally in the flesh. You know what I mean? And those are the moments, those are the memories, you know what I'm saying? Those moments where you don't necessarily are attached to technology. You know what I mean? That you have that certain memory, that you have to connect with that person who was there with you to make sure that it was a real situation. You know what I mean? Like that's in essence live music, right? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we did well making the most of the moment in these tiny desk at homes and things like that, and verses, and you know different online concerts, you know what I mean? But there will never be an experience like being at a concert. There would you
That's
can't emulate that. You can't emulate that unless you are there in present.
Yeah.
I always say I'm glad I grew up when I did.
Yeah.
And to be able to have experienced what will never exist again with that same authenticity.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I grew up when I did. And
Yeah,
in
man.
order to hear all of that and see all of that, that
Okay.
real. That's
You
why
can
I've been downloading old stuff so I can feel good again.
yeah, man.
You have to revisit older things in order just to feel good. Whether it's a movie we're watching, it's the
Yeah.
older movies that a jerk a tear. You're not gonna see anything recent that's really gonna affect you like that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Appreciation for the things of the past. But I have dropped a tear recently in the movie. I don't know if y'all saw TikTok Boom.
Never seen that.
You got one.
That movie got me. I mean, but anyway.
Not many.
But I will say, I mean, yeah, there's something to be said about the times and how they're changing and how differently things are. Because even when we were talking earlier about our schedules and our lifestyle in terms of how we grew up, you know, it's like that's like lost. Churches don't get down like that anymore. Even pre everything that happened with the pandemic, I feel like there was a move away from the traditionalist type of activity. I mean,
they messed up. They messed up when they told us to go to college, because what ended up happening is that we got exposed to different ways of thinking that was outside of the church.
You said a lot.
You know what I mean? And what happens is that you find out that somebody can live a complete different life that you were told was wrong, and are successful, not because of the principles they carry, but by the character in which they handle themselves in different situations. Like a lot of things that we don't talk about in the church are things that I would say, how the old folks would say, the world is now bringing into the conversation.
That's a whole nother show.
Man, I'd like to come back for it. I'm ready.
mean, it could be this show. We still got some time, but yeah, we definitely have you back too.
Listen, I think we're getting into the meat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it you know, everything starts at home. And I'm glad. I have no regrets. I'm blessed to be able to say that I really have no regrets.
No,
for a reason in its own season, and it groomed me in such a way that it built character up in me to have me confident to escape certain scenarios and organizations and alliances, to be brave enough to just delve into what else is possible.
Right.
And we're always going to make, when, you know, depending on who you are, I knew I was going to make some good decisions. So I trusting our own gut is half of the battle, and knowing that, you know what, whoa, and not needing approval. That's my thing has been no surveys. I don't take surveys. I'm asking people what they think about what I'm doing, because that's where we mess up. Considering, I don't consider.
Hey, Jay, how were your parents when it came to you wanting to do music? Like in terms of like for real, were they cool with it or what?
I had to go to college first. If I had it my way, I was moving from Spanaway to Atlanta, Georgia, to track down Jermaine Dupri so that I can be an intern at So Def. That was my plan. That was my plan. I had it mapped out. But that got vetoed. That got vetoed toughly. And the compromise was Eastern, which was a culture shock in itself. But yeah, I had to do college first. So it was like, you know, I was trying to find my way into making college make sense for what I really wanted to do. Right. And I always knew about the two sides of music, you know what I'm saying? Like they say that the show is really behind the curtain, you know, and to learn the business aspect of public relations, how to communicate with people, how to how to brand, you know what I'm saying? Like get your branding together, how to structure press releases, how to write bios, how to, all this stuff that you use to, connect with people, how to do that. You know what I mean? I just felt that, college was the best avenue to do so. And it was just really one of those I have a dream moments because I had no direction when I first went to college. I was just like, why am I here? It's snowing and it's above my waist and I'm not trying to live this life. But at the same time, how can I make this work for me? How can I make this the best situation possible? So I landed on public relations and communications, which just helped me out, you know what I'm saying? Because then that was the beginning of the wave of social media and using Facebook. Like I remember the day I started Facebook because I was so in protest of not being on the grid. That was my thing. I was like, what movie was that? It was Will Smith's Enemy of the State.
Yeah.
Enemy of the State, and how they were tracking him, by his cell phone. That was the first time that idea had been exposed, right? Because like cell phones before then were like these big old block things or whatever. And it's like the fact that they were, tracking his GPS location with a cell phone. I was like, I am not dealing with Facebook right now. Right. I'm cool. But then you started realizing the advantages of being able to connect with people around the world, and so that with trying to be an artist, you can see the amalgamation of it all, you know what I mean? It starts abstract, but it all comes together to make a wonderful kaleidoscope of why we are where we are today.
Utilize it for how you can and
for sure.
And at least we can somewhat dictate that.
Yeah.
Wow. I did not expect. I mean, I know Jay, we're from the same area. I don't know if we've actually like sat down and talked about some things before, but I did not expect to be taken back in so many ways to some very pivotal times in my life by talking to you on this podcast. Because right now, when you were talking about going to college, it was like, same thing. By the time I graduated from LAXA, which was a performing arts high school, I had no clue what I wanted to do, but I knew that my mom was not going to be having me not go to college. Like that was like, it was an automatic. So I had to go to school. And when I went to school, I kind of just put all of the artsy things like on the shelf because it was like, okay, now it's time to, like, I guess, be a real person and do like real things. And tying into this organization, part of the reason I started this organization was because I lost my sense of direction as it came to being an artist and being a creative once I left school, once I left that high school. And I always wanted to have somebody that would help bring me back into the way that I wanted to go, which was to be like an artist. That's all I dreamed about since I was a little kid. So to hear you talk about your experience with going to school, it's just like that emoji where the mind is just like blown, like there's another one, look at Jay's like me, we're like each other.
No, like real deal. Like, it's like I said, I had been at college maybe a year before that Apollo night, and then that's when it like, so second year in, and then having that moment, it was like, like it wasn't one of those, it hit me right away once I got to college. It was just like, this is why I'm here. You know what I mean? This is why I'm here. You know what I mean? Like if I want to do what I want to do, then I can still work on that, all the while getting the skills that I need to be successful behind the scenes. If, artistry does not pan out the way that I would like it to be. Like, there was just one of those moments that taught me, like, you really have to detach from the outcome that you desire in order to be positioned to do what you're called to do, which has a greater reward than anything that you can imagine or think, straight up and down. So it's like, like maybe you got pulled away from your artistry to do exactly what you're doing because it's serving a greater purpose and it's coming with a greater reward. I'm just going to throw that out there as an affirmation for you. You know what I mean? Because like it's just one of those things. Like, let's not be apologetic for our experiences. Let's embrace them as bricks to build, saying the foundation on which we stand.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up and down, straight up and down. So
Yes, I
yeah.
receive.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna call this episode Straight Up and Down.
Straight up and down.
Shout out Bruno. Shout out Bruno.
Oh my goodness.
Ah,
So what's
that's
on deck
good.
for you? I mean, what do you have coming up?
That's good. We are on the first quarter. We have some shows lined up here, there, and everywhere. Best thing you can do is go on rtmusicgroup.com, look up Dwele to find out where he's going to be. I can call out Chicago, Cincinnati, and Nashville off of the top of my head. I don't even know if I'm supposed to share that. Don't put that in. I'm sorry.
Oh shoot. Okay, I can edit it out if it's not supposed to be in
Thank you. What else? I am working on my new music. I've been to therapy, so then therefore, a whole bunch of creative stuff came out from the discoveries in that. So
Nice.
it's going to be my little audio journal.
Mm-hmm.
Tight. Tight.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, and then also, supporting these kids in social emotional learning. I have a young men's group in the public school system. I call Gentlemen's Club. And we definitely have conversations on the practice of social emotional learning in the academic setting. We are reading a book together. It's wonderful. Yes, that is my plate right now.
That's what's up. Straight up and down.
Straight up and down.
And thank you on behalf of all men. And thank you for your service.
Man, each one reach one, man.
It's a big deal.
Each one reach one. Since we having a man moment, I'm gonna go ahead and ask some man question. Ask men, since you guys can both speak to that. I mean, what sort of stigmas, I guess, have you had in terms of, your social emotional well-being, and kind of like, living your best life?
What are you really asking?
I'm asking, have you had hang-ups with, I guess, getting the help and support that you need as a man? Just because, sometimes, I guess, socially, it's not prior to now, because now is different. We have a new wave of things going on. But in terms of it being socially acceptable for men to reach out and get the support they need when it comes to their emotional well-being, their mental well-being.
Well, that's wild. The foundational principle of social emotional learning is self-awareness. That to say, you'd have to know that you need support. You know what I mean? It wasn't until I discovered it within myself that I could handle it. You know what I mean? Strong silent type. You know what I'm saying? That's indeed a trauma response. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a bad thing to ask for help. You know what I mean? It's not a bad thing to ask for support, But at the same time, you have to know that within yourself. Like, if you got it, good. You know what I mean? More power to you. But at the same time, when you don't, it's all right to be honest with yourself. It's all right to be honest with yourself. You know what I mean? But that's just that.
Okay. Seats, you got anything on that?
He's speaking, dropping gems. So there's no need to add on to what's already good. They heard what they heard. So everybody out there listening. But where can everybody follow you on social media and everything? Like, where can we hear all this, some more wisdom like this?
Man, listen, I'm picking up this wisdom as I experience it. I'll tell you like that. But if you like to follow me on social media, it's definitely anything Sir underscore J.Charles, SIR_J CHARLES. But yeah, like a lot of this wisdom is experience, or or knowledge in action. I'll say it like that. You know what I mean? Everything is a practice. Everything is a practice. Anything you start practicing that, you're gonna be weak at. You can't be scared to be weak. You know, that's
wonderful quotable phrases up in this piece today.
this is it. This is stuff I'm learning out and putting into practice. That's all I'm saying, you know.
Putting it into practice and putting it into the atmosphere.
I just
That's it. Appreciate it. Right. Get it back.
Dang, you quick on the draw, Seat. You quick on the draw. You be like, just followed you.
That is the day and time we live in.
I'll be like, okay, I'll follow you in an hour when I can actually look
our
on
listeners,
my phone.
whoever is listening, go follow at Sir_J.Charles right now, immediately. We don't wait around. Everything is happening right now.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
This is why we are all here to help each other out.
Yes, we got each other. It's teamwork. It's team effort.
It is, though. It really is, though.
Social media has been my weakness. I mean, we all know that.
But it's not one of mine. So that's
it's definitely your strength.
It's and I don't. Whatever. It's a tool. It's a nice tool to have and to utilize to our benefit.
Indeed.
Don't let it work. You work it.
Work it. So Jay, what do you have after this? Are you in the studio tonight? Are you practicing? I mean, what's up?
Yeah, I'm writing actually. I just composed something and I'm trying to listen to it to see what lyrics come with it. So that's my project. Also, I have some things that are need some polishing up. So in the spirit of finishing what I start, that is what's happening. If I was to release something today, everybody would have probably like 8 songs, but I want to pick the very best out of what I do, and I'm taking my time with the artistry because I'm sensitive about my stuff.
Straight up.
I'm glad you got that.
What's up with your team though? I mean, you got a solid team. I mean, that you work with on this stuff.
Let me shout out my boys, man. My bros, man. Rick Pitts, he definitely rocks the bass, man. Benji, drummer, engineer, extraordinaire, Noe Rodriguez, man, and so many other artists that are just working. Zach Bruce, Black Soul, out there doing some wonderful work. Just announced that he had recorded Nas's opening monologue on his video. Like, there's a whole bunch of cats from the Tacoma, Seattle area that are just out here doing wonderful things. Will Jordan, who's working on his new album. Tamika Williams, who just released the EP not too long ago. It's just a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of people moving in synergy to let the world know, man, like the Pacific Northwest, man, it's cooking up here, man. It's cooking up here. You know what I mean? And it's been so for a long time. It's just now, now that the world sees Seattle, you know what I'm saying? And it's starting to look, but it's been here and it's gonna be here. And you're welcome to come check it out. It's nice. It's nice.
A lot of history in Seattle. Seattle's a big deal out here.
It was
Seattle.
It was one of Martin Luther King's last stops.
Right on. There's so much history there, man.
I should be back up there in the summer. I'll have to hit you up, Jane.
Yeah, you'll be right on time. It'll be hot. It'll be hot. It'll be nice. Mount Rainier will greet you as soon as you land.
I got to get back down there and get to that market and get some of that yellow watermelon. Woo!
Oh, Pike Place?
Pike Place. Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
That's the spot now for me. Down in Lake Washington and get in that canoe again.
Yeah, we got to take you somewhere where the locals go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Taking the Island Soul.
I don't hear it, but I know a few.
Taking the Island Soul, taking the Columbia City.
Jazz. What was it?
Hmm.
Not Jazz Cafe. Yeah, I
Talking about
just
Jazz
said it a
Alley.
second ago. Jazz
So,
Alley. My bad.
All right. Well, listen, Jay, we ain't gonna have you on here for 5 hours, okay?
No, listen, I
We
had a good time. I had a good time.
we have appreciated you taking the time to come on here and for sharing all of the things that you shared. We are forever connected. You
For
already
sure.
know that. So
hmm
yeah, I just appreciate you saying yes to the invitation.
I appreciate you extending it. That was wonderful and kind of you for just giving me this time to talk with y'all, man. This has been great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, most def, most def. So yeah, this is what we do from the inside out, right, Seats?
That's right. And that's thank you. And if you're listening, we'd like to invite you to be a part of what Creative in Projects is doing. So you can sign up and to be a part of the Artist Network, volunteer, and make a donation today at creativemprojects.org.
Yeah. So, you know, we like to tell y'all every week,
Mm-hmm.
and that is to keep creating from the inside out. We have been speaking with J.Charles. I've been your host, Melissa Sharee.
And I'm your co-host, Mr. Eric Seats.
All right, y'all. Peace.